Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you as always by Lay of the Land and hosted by me, Rolene Marks. Now, it feels like forever since we've chatted, since I've brought you those top stories from Israel, as I do every Monday to Thursday, because we have had Chagim here in Israel, more festivities, more celebrations. But rest assured, we're back to normal, well, at least from next week anyway. So let's get into those top stories, and we begin with news that Prime Minister Yair Lapid, who also happens to be our foreign minister, has summoned the ambassador of Australia to Israel for a reprimand following Canberra's decision to walk back the 2018 decision to recognize West Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong stated that Australia will not recognize West Jerusalem as the capital of Israel because any status pertaining to Israel is dependent on a final status agreement, and that goes towards our capital, Jerusalem. Now, Foreign Minister and Prime Minister Yair Lapid has slammed these comments by the Australian Foreign Minister, saying that they are basing their decision on an unfactual media report, and that Jerusalem remains Israel's eternal and undivided capital. The Australian Zionist Federation, as well as the Executive Council for Australian Jewry, have also expressed their disappointment, saying that you do not treat an ally, especially a strategic ally, from a security, from an economic perspective like this. However, Australia's Foreign Ministry say that they are willing to work towards a two-state solution. Now, just a reminder to Foreign Minister Penny Wong that all of Israel's national buildings, our Supreme Court, our Foreign Ministry, our Knesset, is all situated in what is known as West Jerusalem, and that even if Jerusalem should be judged or divided pertaining a final status agreement, which we don't think will ever happen, that West Jerusalem is still considered the capital of the Jewish state. Wong says that Canberra will not be moving their embassy from where it is now in Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, something that was discussed with the previous Scott Morrison government. Meanwhile, Hamas and the Palestinian Authority have both expressed their happiness at this decision from the Australians, saying that this is a step in the right direction. And just as an aside, if you are going to take your foreign policy cues from a terror organization like Hamas, you may want to reconsider what you're doing. A task force that has been probing last year's disaster at Mount Meron that resulted in 45 people being killed and 150 injured over Lag BaOmer has presented its preliminary findings to Prime Minister Yair Lapid. Former Justice Devorah Berliner, who headed up the inquiry, says that the reason that they are presenting their interim report rather than the completed report is they want to give the government time to implement some of the recommendations that they have included in their report. This includes expanding the amount of space or territory that the event takes place on, introducing traffic regulations, as well as introducing ultra-Orthodox ushers to see people to their places in safety. A final report will be given relatively shortly. In other news, President Herzog is due to make a state visit to the United States on the 26th of October. He will meet with President Biden as well as representatives from the Jewish communal leadership and many others. And we wish our president safe travels, and we look forward to renewing and re-deepening our ties, our strategic ties with the United States of America, which are already long and abiding. And our final story for the day is a personal one. I had the immense pleasure and honor 2 days ago of meeting former South African Chief Justice Mogoeng at the Eshtaol Nursery. This is in the Eshtaol Forest, very close here where I am in Modi'in. This is in Beit Shemesh. The former Chief Justice was in Israel as part of a Christian delegation here to celebrate the Feast of the Tabernacles, which coincides with Sukkot, as well as for the former Chief Justice to receive the Zechariah Award. Now, speaking very, very movingly to the crowd that was gathered, the former Chief Justice spoke about the situation between South Africa and Israel as it stands at the moment, saying that South Africa has never been more divided or in need of what Israel has to offer. He also spoke glowingly of the miracle that is Israel and how his eyes have been opened on this, his first visit to the Jewish state. What really moved me is he quoted from the scriptures and also spoke about the importance of building an altar, a spiritual altar, also a covenant between our two countries. And it was his intention to bury a small collection of stones and coins from both countries to cement that covenant, and he believes that relations between the two countries will grow stronger and will be renewed in the future. And I say amen to that, Chief Justice Mogoeng, and thank you to many of you who were part of that delegation. I know you do watch the Israel Brief, for being here in Israel and for blessing us with your presence. And that brings me to the end of today's broadcast. Don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow to bring you those top stories. We, of course, will be following the Australian story very, very closely. In the meantime, please check out our website. We have a whole lot of new content going up at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook page is at Lottel Site. If you haven't already liked or followed us, please do so. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. Do us a solid, click on that red subscribe button. Let us get that news from Israel out to as many people as possible. And of course, we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, and we'll see each other again tomorrow.